We all have 24 hours in the day. So I'd like your insight around the whole concept of cause and effect, activity, creating productivity, and some of the insights you give your advisors around how to focus on what they get paid to do.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that team at year end cracked $1 billion. So from whenever that meeting was in September, October to the end of the year, they broke through on, and that's just on recurring revenue, not on their other side of the business and their annuities and other brokerage stuff. But it's really interesting. But that's a great example of, you're right. And I'll dummy it down so easily. And I always go back to this. And if you think of Vince Lombardi, I used this analogy a couple of weeks ago. Vince Lombardi was the great football coach, for the people that don't know, for the Packers. And every year he'd open up the season and say, everybody, this is a football. And then John Wooden, on another example, he was the great coach at UCLA. I think he won 11 in a row championships in the NCAAs. And he would make everyone tie their shoes, all these best 5-star recruits, before the first practice started. They were like, what are we doing here? And he said, that's probably the most important thing, because if your shoe comes untied in the biggest moment, so you got to make sure you know how to do this right. So basic. So I try to take that to the business, and there's really only two ways to grow in this business. And people hear me say this over and over again, but you can either see more people, or you can sell bigger cases, or you can do both, right? And until you dummy it down to that, you're just fooling yourself, because someone could have this great growth. And if they were fortunate enough to land a very big client, that might not happen every single year, right? So what we've tried to do is make that really efficient. And that team is an example of that. Even though the CEOs of the team, their best skill set is helping clients make financial decisions, right? But now, how do you build distribution underneath you, understanding your margins and all that good stuff, and get yourself into more of those positions, and then in better ones? And that's how they've grown. Now, that team was a team that started with about 3 FAs, and now there's 11, and they all have different responsibilities. And then there's probably a 35, 40 person staff. But you have to understand your margins, and you have to understand distribution. And if you can continue to show up and do more of those things more frequently, then you're growing. And then it's moving inches and feet and getting efficiencies. And it's understanding how distribution works, and then understanding all the things you have to do and being as efficient as you can to free yourself up to either see more and bigger, or to have some more free time for yourself to go off and golf and spend more time with your family.